us. Special thanks to my Attorney General, Brother Ellison, my former congressman who, representing a lot, and he's the people's attorney, and he's a great brother. Anytime we need him, anytime the people of Minnesota and the nation is there. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, alhamdulillah. So, Sheikh, thank you all for having me. What I would do, if it's okay, is to make a few preliminary comments, then to answer whatever questions. But I want to let you know that inshallah, we're ready. I'm ready to meet with you anytime. Well, that means we can do some follow-ups if we need to, but it's important to stay in communication because right now, I just can't show up at the masjid and you just can't show up at the Capitol. We're all kind of restricted. So it's important for us to use technology to stay in touch as much as we can, inshallah. Anyway, as everyone knows, the coronavirus has struck the nation. It's struck a lot of places. In fact, I don't know if you all know this, but my mother passed away about on March 24th. And it was related to this, right? And so this is a very close thing to me. It touches all families, and I only mention this to you is because I want to ask you to urge the brothers and sisters to take it seriously. It's not a joke. It's real. And right now we're seeing the worst days out there, and many of the communities that we represent are some of the most vulnerable people. A lot of senior citizens, a lot of people who have had illnesses, a lot of working class poor people, a lot of insured people are folks who we represent directly. And so this is an important thing for us to communicate with. And I will tell you that spiritual leadership is needed right now. People have a lot of misunderstanding as to what's going on, and your leadership is critical at this moment. So thank you for calling us. Let me just say, there are a number of things that need to happen. One is that we need to make demands of the government that reflect the needs of the people. And I don't know what all those things are, but you do. And so when you all get together in your meetings, it would be good to come up with a letter to the governor, which you would send to me and everybody on the executive council, and tell us all, here's what we need. And so that was one thing I think we should do. Let me go over a few preliminaries. As you know, COVID-19 started in China, began to spread throughout the world. Very difficult challenges in countries outside of China. Iran hit very hard. Italy, we know that hit hard. Spain hit hard. And now this is really beginning to ramp up in the United States. Because we can talk about whose fault it is and all that, but because actions were not taken as quickly as they could have been, and testing was not done as fast as it should have been, we're seeing devastating losses. We had the executive order, the shelter-in-place order come in, and then the governor began to issue additional executive orders to try to do two things. One, protect the public health. Two, protect the economic health. Both are at play here. And so the governor, under Minnesota Statutes number 12, Minnesota Statutes 12, has the authority to invoke emergency powers in peacetime if certain criteria are met, like a pandemic. The governor's not a law unto himself. He has to have all of his decisions approved by the executive council. I'm on the executive council. So is the lieutenant governor. So is the secretary of state. So is the state auditor. Every few days we meet and we approve or not of proposals that the governor has made, and that has gone on. So far, we have not said no to any of them because they all seem reasonable. But there are things like extension of unemployment benefits, putting in a anti-price gouging to stop people from price gouging, put in other things in place to try to make sure that we deal with the public health on the one hand and the economic stability on the other hand. the imams can make proposals to this group. In fact, a group made a proposal to just today, saying that after the coronavirus shelter in place is over, what about all the rent that's going to be due by people who don't have jobs? Can the government help? What can happen? And so they're making proposals, and so I encourage you to make those same proposals. Now, the state legislature did pass a piece of legislation with about $200 million in it. It will be a grant fund, small business fund, and the masjid can apply because to help deal with the challenges that the ummah is facing, such as things like food. People might come to the masjid for food. People might come to the masjid for various things. Now, exactly how to make the application, I'm going to ask my staff to help me give you that information, but it is important that we give you that information so that you can make application for people who are coming to the masjid for food, for fuel, for various things that they need. And so that is a piece of legislation passed by the legislature for not only emergency assistance for nonprofit groups, but also organizations that do information sharing. And I know some of the members of the minority press have already begun to inquire about that. But I will have to defer to others to give you the information. We can follow up to make sure you get that. So let me just finish up by telling you that my office at the Attorney General has been extremely busy. I've been pulling, 12-hour days consistently because we've had over 900 calls for frauds and scams and price gouging. You may be surprised to hear this, brothers, but some people see a catastrophe like this is an opportunity to cash in. So I've been having to deal with these people. There've been over 900 inquiries at my office, and we've done about 90 secret shopper investigations. So whenever we get a call of a complaint, we send people out to shop there, verify the price gouging, and if they do it, then we take action against them. And we've done over 27 warning letters. We've settled 2 cases. We went to court against a unscrupulous landlord today who tried to, because he couldn't kick somebody out of the house because of the executive order against eviction, he went out there and he shut off the utilities for this family that has a special needs child. So we had to get after him. But this is happening not just in Minneapolis and St. Paul, all over the state. We've had cases in Sandstone. We've had cases all over. So that's what's going on right now. I'm very busy. Please be on the lookout for any kind of hate crimes, particularly against people who are from the Far East. We've seen, because when Trump said Chinese virus, we started seeing a lot of Hmong people, Korean people, and others become targets. We even had one South Asian person, and that was odd, but it happened. And so we're trying to stop these hate crimes too. So we need your help, and we want to connect you with resources that might be available, and just want to meet with you to be able to stay in touch. So that's all I want to say tonight. Jazakallah khair, and thank you all for being there. Last thing I want to say is people are afraid. They don't know what's going on, and they need spiritual guidance at this moment. You all are providing that. I'm grateful for you to do that. Jazakallah khair.